You know the vibes. We got Nisi on the track.
All right, we got a new key to the collection, but it's just as Mazda as all of them. So let's just go over this fire smoke covered thing, because you know oh wow, it's almost back to normal. I know it probably looks different on the camera than it does in real life, but yo, so check it out. We got this Mazda RX8. Everything is all set up to run track shit. Biggest key point was these stop tech brakes right here. Big rotors, big calipers. That is like worth its money in gold. But what I did notice is now the front is over braked compared to the back. So that drive that I took through the back roads testing it out, the front seems super strong. Now I'm sure it's something I can get used to. The rear brakes being those little teeny tiny calipers, probably not that big of a deal. Given the fact that it was noticeable to me, I feel like I may want to get at least a brake bias controller. Carbon fiber lip. Obviously RX8s have dual oil coolers. Now my thought process is, of course, I'm going to change the front bumper, get a little bit of a bigger radiator face opening. Basically the same idea with the other RX8, but let's check out that interior, because I mean the exterior is just really standard. Given these nice little plexiglass windows, super light, going with the rest of the theme of being super light. Remove the rear windows, carbon fiber inserts right here, and there we go. Very, very simple interior. All of the sound deadening's been stripped out. All of the interior has been removed there from the back. No door panels. That's sauce. A lot of the dash has been gutted. All air con is taken out. And I mean, other than that, sunroof controls have been removed. This is just your standard gym right here. RX8s usually average about 3,000 pounds. 3070 is what their stock weights are. So I gotta wonder like how much this car weighs. We might have to take it to a truck scale one day. I think that'll be a good vibe just to see like what it actually weighs. And I'm assuming, some of my homies have assumed this is about 2,700 pounds. I do believe them, but we'll see specifically once we take it to the scale. Very, very business forward interior now. Auto power cage, just a regular bolt-in cage. I may later on go ahead and get an actual custom fab one done. Door bars, maybe. It's not really needed for road racing, but I think that we could tie in the rest of this chassis a little bit more with the door bars. That'll give us a little bit more rigidity. And then who knows? I mean, I'm not supposed to drift this car. I'm not gonna drift this car, but what if I do tend to get sideways one day? Being fully caged gives me that little bit of level of safety that I think I might be a little bit more comfortable with. So, as you can see straight through the back, let's check out the back. Got a nice wing set on the back. It was set on the least restrictive setting. We could definitely change that to something else a little bit later on if we find that we need a little bit more drag, a little bit more aero properties. But I mean, it's just 100% stripped down field suspension. You can see those sitting there in the corners. I was gonna go ahead and buy those for the white RX8, but these have it on here. How rigid this chassis is, I was thinking about changing the springs because I think they're 16 and 14 Ks. Maybe want to do a little lighter for my preference, but I'm not going to change anything until we hit the track. Once we actually hit the track and see how this car performs, I may not change a thing. But that's all good. And then we got the radio holders for the transponders and radios there. I mean, this guy had it really set up like a real-time attack car. So it's really nice, really tight. The wing is carbon fiber. I know the ash and the paint on the top doesn't let you know that. But the other cool thing is right here, this exhaust. It is HKS high power. That's what was said, but it does have a V-band clamp. If you can see it back there, that V-band clamp can be used to take this tip off and bolt on a bigger muffler. Now we all know Laguna Seca has a dB restriction. Certain dB restriction days this car may exceed it, so we take that tip off, bolt on that muffler, and dBs instantly drop. So that's a big benefit. I think that will make this car super versatile for me. I'm gonna be able to use the car at all times. I know everybody wants to know what you got done to it. What's in the motor? Let's pop the hood. Now, these RX8 hoods are standard, super light, but this gives it a little bit more lightness. These could probably be painted. I may do that later on. But as far as what the engine has, AEM cold air intake, it is said, I can't see it because this car does a very good job at covering it all up. Let's see if we can get a shot of it. Okay, let's see. No, you can't see them, but it's got the factory header on it. It said it had the aftermarket, but it's the factory one I see on there. Also, there is a oil metering pump removed. Added this. I might have to top it off in a little bit, but we keep the Idemitsu in that joint. He said keeps it about halfway or it'll slosh out otherwise. So that is what feeds in our oil that goes into the motor. Since the oil metering pump has been removed, coil radiator is in. It's got one fan removed. I don't know if he did that on purpose or if it got broken and it was just like whatever. I may add on what needs to be put there as two big style fans. Biggest key for me is that I want it to always run cool so that I could always hot lap it. I could always run this thing as hard as possible no matter what the outside exterior temperature is. As far as power, it's just this exhaust and an access port that has tuned the car. Then you can see the LS1 coil packs. Those have been changed in there. So aside from having the carb legal stuff, because this vehicle is smoggable and daily drivable if I really felt like it, but got those right there, I don't really need to. So this thing does have the AM carb legal intake. It has Racing Beat dual resonated mid pipe. Like I said, it's supposed to have came with the aftermarket header, but it's the factory joint on there. And then we've got the HKS high power back there, an 11-pound flywheel. I don't know what the full power level is. I'm gonna check it out very soon. We'll get it on the dyno and see what this is producing at the ground. Place your bets in the comments what you think this is producing. I'm going to say maybe somewhere around 200, 212 at the wheels, which should still, I mean, prove to be pretty good, but I think that's fine. That's really not my care as to what this car produces on the ground, but it's very quick, and you will see once we go drive it, you'll see how quick it is. Standard stuff, nice solid clutch. As you can see, the master is braced off this strut tower as well. I mean, this car feels so much like a go-kart. It's really insane how stiff and rigid everything is, and it makes for a really fun car. The wheels are 17 by 9.5 plus 38. I'm gonna just put a spacer on them, kick them out. 255s front and back. So as I said, this car handles like a go-kart. These, we all know the Falcons is my choice tire. This is gonna be insane on the track, up to temperature with grip. There's a short shifter, Domaze right there, dog. I still have hazard lights, I still have blinkers. That's a cigarette lighter power source, so I'm gonna hook up a few things in here. Like I said, this car only needs to do one thing, and that's go around the racetrack. So I for sure am gonna have a monitor with a reverse camera there, so I could have the GT3 styles that I'm always into. That's typically all that I'm gonna do to this car aside from aero and change the color. So the short shifter, this shit is really interesting. This feels like the stock R3 shifter. I've thought about replacing these with the full carbon fiber doors, but I don't really know if I'm fully committed to that yet. That's a lot of money for just a little bit of a weight drop, because this is actually really light. So the reason why I bought this car, as it was a great opportunity purchase, a good impulse buy, but I was obviously looking for another car for Jalen. But since this popped up, I really could not find a reason not to buy it. So this is actually going to be Jalen's seat, or at least the size. How do you fit in it?
I fit fine. I can see perfectly.
Sit in it. Yeah, you good. Buckle up, actually.
Normally normal seatbelt or these?
No, it's not the normal seatbelt.
Well, I said using
No.
the front.
No. So it has OMP joints that are super legal, super legit. Then your sides. Push it on in there. So there we go. We've got the full 5 points. So if you crash, you're gonna explode your nuts.
Whoa. I'm not planning on crashing no time soon.
Yeah, it goes for me as well. So I don't plan on crashing either. But yeah, this is a perfect seat for Jalen. So like I said, we bought a car that it was just like a car with parts. So we got parts that I really needed and really wanted, and got a car to go with it. So Jalen got a seat. We might dye it, do some fabric restoration, because that shit is gold. But yeah, it's a perfect seat for Jalen, and I've got right, yeah. And I've got my own seats, and I'm probably gonna get another. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. I mean, this is still like one of my favorite features of the car right here. That's just too damn cool to me. But there's really not much that I could or should do to this. This is just reinforcement, and I'll probably keep that in the door until we get door bars. But later on, these will come out, and I'll cut this out here just to leave the original door skin. Obviously, we got to keep that so that it'll turn the lights off. But yeah, that's really all that I'm planning to do with this. We're gonna weigh it, go put it on the scales and see how much it actually weighs. But if there's any other place that we can pull weight out from, I think it's already done generally. I really love the RX8 dashes, right? I don't really have to look at shit else but that tack. I don't care about nothing else but that tack. And we've got the gauges there. We got some Defi gauges there on the side. And I might just get oil pressure, because oil pressure is a good vibe to have. Other than that, that's really all that I'm going to add, except for just an OBD plug-in dash. You can just plug in. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, you just plug in at the OBD port, and I can run a monitor right there that I can change any information I would ever need or want on it. And that would really be it. Brake bias knob is for sure going to be purchased, and I'll just put that somewhere on that carbon fiber panel that you see right there. And that's because, like I said, the big old super strong calipers in the front, they make this car stop excessively fast. But I feel like when I was jamming through the back roads, and it could just be the rate that I was going with changing directions, the rear seemed like it was under braked. Well, other than that, maybe just a steering wheel release that flips up. I don't need this steering wheel to come off. But you know, the really cool ones, you pull the handle and it flips the steering wheel up. That's going to be added, and that's really about it. Communication systems with my boy, because we really be out here about that life. So having the communications car to car, that would be really cool. That's all that we're adding, aside from aero and getting some fitment going on. Yellow headlight covers, and that's my whole vibe. These bug me. That's only because they're riveted in. I don't really mind the mirrors themselves. I'd really be cool with them if they were firmer, but I don't know. Maybe you get some factory mirrors, take the carbon fiber piece out and put the factory mirrors back in. Who knows? I'm wrapping it, changing the color. I'm now loving this more, because this makes me love that car so much more. Coilovers are going on that, and that's really all that I'm going to do with that car, because now I've got this. I don't need to do anything else to that. So this shit is pretty chill. But I gotta wash this car. Today's my father's birthday, hanging out with him, so I'll probably wash it tomorrow. May add it in on this video, may see it on the next video, but that's gonna be it for the walk around of this vehicle today. Gotta get all this fire ash and shit off of the car. I mean, we all know it's dangerous for the paint surfaces, but not too huge of a deal for this car.